Spent a lot of time talking about the immigration process, what it takes to become a legal resident or a naturalized citizen, and then also the Amnesty Act, which was a slightly different variation of the immigration process, where you were allowed to be here or you were allowed to stay even if you were here illegally as long as you could prove certain things. So that's going to lead us into talking about the state of immigration today. It is a bit of a touchy subject with a lot of what has been going on in the world politically in the last couple of years. And while we don't want to get too political, that does have a big effect on the immigration situation now. So, um, what's happening now with our current administration and in the government is that there's a lot of profiling due to who we have in charge in office right now. Profiling is basically stereotyping. It's the whole judging a book by its cover. You see somebody that looks a certain way, and you tend to assume certain things. We all do it, whether we like to say it or not. We look at certain things and certain people and make assumptions just based on looks alone, whether it's clothes they're wearing, skin color, whatever else. Which obviously leads to potential issues of racism. Unfortunately, racism is alive. It exists. It's there. It's around you all the time. Again, whether or not you acknowledge it or do something about it is totally separate. But um, the profiling that leads to racism can lead to a lot of issues. Um, people being mistreated simply because they look or act a certain way. And that's been around forever, not just today. Not just in the '60s with the civil rights movement in the United States, but forever. Um, with immigration, they're also talking about adding limitations. We've seen that the government says that about 28% of people who apply for residency can have it, but with the current administration, they're possibly trying to change birthright, meaning if you're born in the United States, that might not be good enough to become a citizen anymore. If your parents are illegal and you are born in this country, current government administration is trying to set forth precedents that make it so that even if you're born here, you might not be able to stay. So that's going to cause a lot of issues moving forward if that's something that happens. And there's also all kinds of other policy changes of people traveling in and out and things like that. So there's a lot going on. There's also been cries for possibly building the wall, right? Basically, uh, if you build a wall, people will stop from coming in. They think that this giant wall on the southern border is going to stop a lot of what's happening. But we also need to realize that immigrants don't come just from the South, right? It's not just the Hispanic immigrants coming in. It's people coming in from the ports, from Canada, from both the Atlantic and Pacific coast. So um, building this wall that's going to cost people tons of money might not be it. That being said, there's also um, cries for some people to remove current immigrants. There's that we know of over 33 million, I believe. And the number might be different from the last time I looked this up, but there's tons of illegal immigrants in the country now, and removing them all is a big deal. It could cause a lot of different things to happen, and there's going to be a video link that you're going to work on. This link is it's right here on the presentation, but I'll link it separate to your um, assignment so that you can take a look at it. That's where the bulk of your questions are going to come now. You're going to look at this video. It's a 10 things that could happen if we were to remove illegal immigrants, the current illegal immigrants living in the country now. And that'll kind of wrap us up with this. We need to understand that uh, what this country is built on is people from other countries. Unless you're a full-blooded, 100% Native American, and you can trace your roots to tribes of this country hundreds and hundreds of years ago, we're all immigrants in some way, shape, or form. And I'm going to leave you with the inscription of the Statue of Liberty, which still stands today in the New York, New Jersey harbor. And it says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp besides you, or besides the golden door, rather." So basically this is an insignia that lives in this country, representing liberty for anybody that chooses to be here. Now, yes, you can't just welcome everybody from all over the world at one time. It wouldn't be sustainable for our country. But the fact that there wants to be a lot that there's want to be there a lot of limitations could cause issues, and we just kind of do need to remember that we all can trace ourselves to those types of things. Some more recently than others, but we all come from other places, and that needs to be respected.